there.
And I want to introduce to you John Brooks from the North Country Council.
Does everybody here know what the North Country Council is? I just want to give you a real quick history of what regional planning commissions are and who we are. In 1969, the legislature established planning commissions in New Hampshire, and at the time they established 9 of them. There are still 9 to this day. The North Country Council was established in, I think, 1973, and we're sort of an odd entity. We don't have any regulatory authority. All we are is advisors to the towns that we serve. The North Country Council serves 51 communities, of which membership is voluntary. Either you choose to be a dues-paying member or you choose to not. I believe we have around 42 members in our commission today. And instead, the state statute is pretty clear about what our charge is, and it's very basic. And there's one thing that we have to do, and it is to create a regional plan, and which is supposed to guide the development of the region. Like a lot of things that are required, it's required, but it's not. We're not paid by the state to do it. So the last regional plan that we wrote was in 1989, and it hasn't been revised or updated since. This project came along, and it's called the Granite State Future, and it's a statewide project. All 9 planning commissions are playing a part or have a role. We're all doing the same thing. And in the end, we will develop a regional plan for each of our regions. And ultimately, all of those will be assembled together, and it'll be a statewide plan, which will, address, a myriad of issues that are identified in all of the outreach that we've done. In terms of outreach to date in the North Country Council, we have had, I believe, 6 sub-regional meetings throughout the region, one right here in Plymouth, and then scattered throughout the North Country. And some of the other things that we have done, because one of the major funding sources for this particular project is HUD, they wanted us to reach out to people that we don't normally hear from. And for those of you who come to these kinds of meetings, planning board meetings or board of selectmen meetings, you probably notice that most of us see each other at a lot of these meetings. So they wanted us to reach out beyond the people that we normally hear from and try to find out what the disenfranchised sector of society, what they have to say. That includes people that live in rural areas, which we all do, people of color, low-income people, elderly people, and to that end, we've gone to food pantries, schools. I went to a Grange meeting to try to find out what people, what their opinion of the North Country is and where and how they think we should grow in the future. So this is a continuation of those efforts that we've made to develop this region-wide plan. And NHListens is going to hold 3 what they call listening sessions throughout the North Country. And this is the very first one we've had. It's the first one I've ever been involved in, so I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm very excited about it. And thanks for coming tonight.
Just a little housekeeping. My colleague from NHListens isn't here tonight, so I'm here to act as your hostess, and I want to thank Bob for allowing us to be in this beautiful community space tonight. I think it's a really beautiful place to talk about your community. Just some things, we've got snacks, coffee, water up front, restrooms are that way. We're going to follow... Napkins are back there. Napkins are back there. You all have a guide. And we're going to follow the format of the guide tonight. You have an expert facilitator in each of your groups who's been working with NHListens, and so I think you'll find they'll really help you through the process. They'll be asking someone in your group to be taking notes all along the way. At the 8:30 or so, I'll remind you we're nearly done. I promise the time goes quickly. And we'll come back together and you all report some key things that your groups talked about. The other thing I want to make you aware of on your sheet are group agreements. So this might be a different format for many of you. And so NHListens group agreements. If you've been in facilitated work before, there's often group agreements, and basically, I can go through these, but I'll do it very quickly. We ask you to share airtime. Everyone gets a chance to speak tonight, and it's also important that you do a lot of listening and learn from your neighbors and community members that are sitting here. If you disagree with something, we ask that you ask a question that might help clarify it, and please not make it personal. It's okay to disagree, but please don't be personal about it. Speak up if you feel that the process in your group isn't fair, and your facilitator will be there to help with that, and I can jump in if I need to. Speak for yourself and not others, so say, I believe this, I think this, I'm worried about this. Use I statements. Personal stories, we ask those to stay in the group. And so it's really important that you feel comfortable sharing tonight. And you'll hear some interesting things from your fellow citizens and neighbors, and we ask that you keep those to yourself. And we all have responsibility in making the group work tonight. This is our third session with NHListens. We were in Dover last week. Similar crowd, size crowd. We were in Claremont 2 weeks ago, a very big crowd. And then we have, Duncan, what, 7, 8, or 9 more of these? 9. 9 more of these across the state through June. So the other 2 in the North Country will be in Littleton next Thursday night and in Berlin early April. And you can go to the NHListens website to learn more about that. Tonight you'll have your facilitator or scribe will write down the things that you're talking about in addition to the report on the back. We will send out a summary of tonight's discussion to all of you within a week or so. And it will also be posted on the NHListens website and the Granite State Future website. I think you'll find that the discussion will be shared and well represented within your community, but other folks in the state are looking at those also. With that, I think we're probably already starting too late. I'm going to let the facilitators get started, and they're going to start by doing an introduction to the business. So thank you. Enjoy.
GrokTV.